Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be sharing everything you need to know about how to care for the Philodendron Jungle Boogie. Plus I'll show you how my Jungle Boogie transformed from a droppy struggling plant to a standing centerpiece in just 7 months. When I first brought this philodendron home, I didn't know where to start. The stem was crawling downward and the plant looked sad and messy. I quickly repotted it into a bigger pot. Then I tried attaching it to a pole to help it grow upright. But there was a problem. The stem was still too small to tie properly, and I had to tie the leaves instead. It wasn't ideal, but it was my only option at that time. So today I'll try to tie it to the stem and finally release the leaves. This plant, also known as the tiger-tooth philodendron, comes from the tropical rainforests of Central and South America. Like many other philodendrons, it thrives in warm, humid environments, which is why it has become such a popular choice for indoor plant lovers. What makes this plant stand out is its long, narrow leaves with wavy edges that almost look like teeth. These shiny green leaves can grow up to 2 feet long, adding a bold and exotic vibe to any space. It grows very long and massive leaves, so if you have problems with small spaces, you should know that it needs plenty of room to thrive. Now let's talk about light requirements. Jungle Boogie thrives in bright, indirect light, which mimics the dappled sunlight it would naturally receive in the rainforest. While it can tolerate lower light conditions, it grows best when it has access to plenty of light, as in my case. I keep mine near a south-facing window, where it gets a few hours of direct sunlight each day. However, the windows in my home have UV protection, which prevents the sunlight from becoming too harsh and damaging the leaves. If you're placing it in direct sunlight, make sure to filter the light with a sheer curtain or move it slightly away from the window to prevent intense rays from scorching the leaves. To achieve larger leaves and faster growth, find a spot with plenty of light. If you notice that it's not producing new leaves often, or that the distance between the leaves is increasing, that's a clear sign it needs more light. Now let's talk about the water requirements for the Philodendron Jungle Boogie. Like most tropical plants, it prefers consistent moisture but doesn't like sitting in soggy soil. I usually water mine once a week, but this cannot be a fixed schedule for everyone. How often your plant needs water depends on factors like the potting mix, temperature, and its position in your home. The best way to know if it does need water is to check the soil before watering. If the top 2 inches feel dry, it's time to water. Over time you will learn how often your plant requires watering based on its growth and environment. When you do water, give it plenty to soak the entire root system. This is a large plant and it typically needs more water to stay hydrated. After watering, always make sure to drain any excess water from the pot. Never let your plant sit in standing water, as this can lead to root rot. During winter, you may need to reduce how often you water, as the plant's water needs decrease in cooler temperatures. Temperature and humidity are 2 important factors for keeping your Jungle Boogie healthy and thriving. This plant loves warm conditions, ideally between 65 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Avoid exposing it to temperatures below 55, as this can cause stress and stunt its growth. Keep it away from cold drafts, air conditioning vents, or heaters, as sudden temperature changes can damage the plant. As a tropical plant, it thrives in higher humidity levels, ideally around 60% or more. If the air in your home is dry, especially during winter, try using a humidifier or placing a pebble tray filled with water nearby to boost moisture. I don't recommend spraying the leaves with water, as their curved shape can trap moisture, potentially leading to pests or leaf damage. If you notice brown or crispy edges on the leaves, this is a clear sign that your plant needs more humidity. When it comes to repotting and soil mix, this plant needs a well-draining soil to stay healthy. You can use a ready-made potting mix for aroid plants, or you can make your own like I do for my philodendrons. These mixes keep the roots aerated and prevent water from sitting in the pot, which is very important for this plant. Repotting should be done when you notice the roots outgrown the current pot or coming out of the drainage holes, usually about once a year. I repotted mine shortly after I brought it home. The bigger pot gave the roots more space to grow. Make sure to use a pot with good drainage holes to prevent water from sitting at the bottom and causing root rot. Also, always choose a pot that's 1 to 2 sizes bigger than the current one. This plant thrives better when it's slightly root bound. When you're repotting, handle the plant carefully. The roots are fragile, so avoid damaging them. After repotting, water it thoroughly to help it settle into its new pot. Repotting is also the best time to give your plant support if needed. While many of these plants can grow without support, there are some, like mine, that actually do better with it. You can use any kind of support to attach the plant so it can grow upright. The leaves are large and heavy, growing on all sides. Over time, their weight can pull the stem down, causing it to bend. That's why I recommend adding support while the plant is still small. The best option is a moss pole, but they require more upkeep, so I don't use them. When staking your plant, try to tie it to the stem and not to the leaves. I didn't have the chance to attach it to the stem when I first brought it home, so I tied the leaves instead. It wasn't ideal, but as you can see, it's growing upright now without any issues. Now I will untie the leaves and attach the stem to the support to release the leaves. As you can see, it looks much better and bushier now. The stem is growing to one side, so I'll place it in a position opposite to the light source. Over time, it will naturally stretch toward the light and start growing upright again. When it comes to fertilizing, the Philodendron Jungle Boogie needs the right nutrients to grow healthy and strong. Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are essential for its growth. Nitrogen helps the plant produce lush, vibrant foliage. Phosphorus supports strong root system. Potassium boosts overall plant health and resistance to stress and pests. If you don't have a specific fertilizer, this plant can also benefit from regular liquid fertilizer applied once a month during the growing season. In fall and winter, its growth slows down, so you can reduce fertilizing to every 2 months or stop altogether. Be careful not to over-fertilize, as this can cause a buildup of salts in the soil and damage the roots. I suggest starting with half the recommended dosage at the first to avoid over-fertilizing. You can gradually increase the dosage during the growing season, especially when the plant also needs more frequent watering. Before applying fertilizer, always water the plant first to prevent root burn. This plant is generally hardy, but it's not completely immune to common houseplant pests like spider mites, mealybugs, scale and aphids. To keep your plant pest-free, inspect the leaves regularly, especially the undersides where pests often hide. If you notice signs of infestations such as yellowing leaves, sticky residue or webbing, take action immediately. You can wipe the leaves with a damp cloth or spray them with a mixture of water and insecticidal soap. For more persistent infestations, neem oil is a highly effective solution. Diseases are less common but can occur if the plant is overwatered or kept in poor conditions. Root rot is the most frequent issue caused by soggy soil and poor drainage. To avoid this, make sure your pot has drainage holes and let the soil dry out slightly between waterings. Fungal leaf spots can also happen if the leaves stay wet for too long. Always water the soil directly and avoid splashing water on the leaves. Proper air circulation around the plant helps prevent fungal issues. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more plant care tips. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or share your experience with the Jungle Boogie. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you for watching and happy planting!